Yeah. So you started off with okay, good. UN Convention on Rights of Persons with Disabilities. So it's a good introduction, bringing the UN dimension, and then yeah, all the points we discussed just now. So you've covered all the points, Sriram. What are the features or provisions of the Act? So what are the lacunae of the Act? Okay, you have written ambiguity, good, and also seems to be no authority that can try. Yeah, the district court one, yes, and there is no clarity on mental illness. So all in all, very good answer, Sriram. Okay,
Yes, sir.
you can maybe, now that seeing your answer, I am also getting an idea. You can write about some sustainable goal, where which talks about equal growth or growth with equity. You can write such things. Okay,
Yes, sir.
fine. See the last question. Examine the provision of national child. Examine the main provisions of national child policy and throw light on the status of its implementation. So it's again national child policy was there. It was a hot discussion during 2015-16. So it came in the mains. National child policy and throw light on the status of its implementation. So simple question again, they are asking you the provisions of this act or this policy, and then you have to say if it is implemented, to what extent it is implemented, if it is not implemented, to what extent it is not implemented. Give the framework. So you have to give the provisions, right? So examine the main provisions of national child policy and throw light on status of its implementation. So yeah, just write some 2 or 3 lines about national child policy in the introduction as to when it was brought up. It was brought up way back in, I think, 2014 or 13. Okay, it is brought up in 2013, and then basically anyone less than 18 years are considered as children as per the national child policies. And the basic, uh, you can say that as per the national child policy 2013, any child with less than 18 years is considered as child. And the basic aim and objective of this policy is to bring a complete development in the child's growth, and then come with the provisions of the national child policy. What are the provisions? What are the various provisions? Then you can give the side heading provisions of national child policy 2013. So what are the various provisions? Anyone? Survival, yes. Survival, you mean to say neonatal care, right? Providing neonatal care to the children within 30 days of birth. That is the survival days. Very good. Okay. Next. There are so many schemes which are now part of this national child policy. The famous vaccination scheme, which is called Mission Indradhanush, I think. Yeah, Mission Indradhanush. And then, free vaccinations to women, the child. Okay. And then the adolescent girls. Adolescent girls are given certain nutrition. Yeah, survival, health, nutrition, development, education, protection, and participation. Yes, that is it. These are the areas where the national child policy tries to speak about the children. So survival, neonatal care, health, uh, immunity and vaccinations, nutrition, as we said, the adolescent girls and the growing children are given the micronutrients like folic acid, etc., so that their iron levels, they do not become anemic and all. Okay, development. So with regard to the development, you can say that the holistic development, not only the education but also the physical growth is also part of this policy. Education, obviously that the right to education, the SSA, Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, is very much part of this policy, and the children between 6 to 14 years should be having right to education as per Article 21, 21A, and then uh, participation. Okay, protection from, you know, trafficking, protection from child right violations like POXO, okay, and protection from being convicted under certain crimes through Juvenile Justice Act, okay, and participation in the nation building and nation's growth. So if you take, you can just see what Vasavi has written. If you see each and every point and write a side heading for it, it will be the provisions of the act. Now comes how far they are implemented. The second part of the question is status of the implementation. Then you can speak about status of implementation as side heading, and then you can speak about some government schemes like Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, how it has been helping to improve the sex ratio, and you can speak about the Matrutva Yojanas, okay, where the children are being given breastfeeding, okay, and also the mothers are given paid leave, okay, the maternity benefit also comes under child growth only, okay, that is one. And you can again speak about the Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan or right to education under Article 21A, okay, and you can, for protection, you can speak about the Nirbhaya Act, which has been formulated in 2011, and then the Nirbhaya funds are there, and then you can talk about the POXO Act, and you can even talk about the PCPNDT Act of 1995, where the determination of sex of the fetus is prohibited. So all these examples, or some 4 or 5 examples, you can mention in your answer, okay, and say that and then conclude saying that while implementation has been uh, progressive so far, the need of the hour is to ensure that the implementation of the national child policy is made in toto, as we still see that many children are malnutrition or undernutrition, and India as a country is facing the triple burden, okay, is facing the triple burden with regard to the children. So the need of the hour is to implement all these uh, aspects of national child policy in a holistic way, so that the India will, for next many years, will be supplying the much needed demographic dividend. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Anything else we can add?